and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony Sykes, and you are on the RantRadioNetwork.com. Give us a call at 855-969-7268 or 855-693-4897. Send me an email if you'd like your question answered on the next show. My email is asykes, S-Y-K-E-S, at sykesaccounting.com. And I invite you to visit our website. It's www.sykesaccounting.com. What I'm going to talk about today, I received an email last week, and they wanted me to talk about, I guess, how you should prepare your business. Record keeping is probably the best way to describe it. And I'm going to get into that because that's important. The next couple months, it will be the end of the fiscal year for the federal government. And the Internal Revenue Service will start its new year in October, and they'll get the new mandate and so on. But also through this summer, some changes should be happening on Obamacare. And you as a small business, if you have one, and have employees, some of those provisions will begin to take effect that you need to do, and we'll talk about that in coming shows. But what I want to talk about now, as I get through a little housekeeping here, we're doing a seminar. Actually, the Board of Equalization is having a seminar, a free seminar and expo, end of this month on August 27th in West Covina. And yours truly will be giving the seminar for the Internal Revenue Service. And I feel very, I guess, honored by that because I'll be the only non-governmental speaker to talk on a subject. So my job really will be to not only present the IRS point of view, but give it to you in a, I guess, in a way that you, the small business owner, will understand, and also give you some tips on how to make your business better. And they allow me to do that. So for more particulars, go to my website, www.sykesaccounting.com. Also, I have another seminar. This will be in Bell Gardens, and that will be on September 10th. We'll have those details on the website this coming Monday. So go to the website, look up seminars, and you'll see the upcoming seminars that we're going to have and some of the details about those. A note, if you are a sole proprietor, IRS is like a battleship. They take a long time to turn around and hit in a direction, but once they do, they don't stop very quickly. And this particular direction that they're going in is small preparers, or it's not small preparers, but sole practitioners, who also could be small preparers in our industry. But if you are a sole proprietor, you have a business, you file a Schedule C, IRS may be taking a closer look at your return. What they've discovered, and this is doing, I guess, analysis on returns up through 2002, which may seem like, from 2002, it may seem like a while back, but they gather a lot of statistics. You're talking about millions of returns. IRS has come to the conclusion that Schedule C sole proprietors tend to understate their income and overstate their expenses. So they're going to take a closer look. That was in a kind of an email that they sent out, or a news press release that they sent out some time ago. Now, it was dated about a couple years, but it takes about a couple years to get going. And in effect, what they say is that about 53% of the losses reported, and this is going back, they look at 2001 as a test year and 2002, that sole proprietors underreported their net income by 57%, and that equated to $68 billion. So that was a lot of money that they feel is coming up. And what they're going to do is pay a little closer attention to it. They're adding new auditors now. The new auditors are being brought in because they also have the responsibility for checking companies under the Obamacare Tax Act for the health care. But there's nothing to stop them from taking a look to see if your income or your expenses are correct. So if you are filing a Schedule C, then maybe you ought to do a couple things. Hopefully you are. One, you're claiming the correct amount of income and the legal amount of expenses. If you're not, then maybe you should consider changing before it's kind of changed for you. Now, one of the people who had sent me an email it was concerning where do you find money in this economy? A lot of businesses find they can't borrow money. Banks are just starting to ease up, but it still hasn't. A few years ago, they were so tight that if you had good credit, it was even tough to get a loan or a line of credit. Now everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of businesses have some type of credit issue, and so it's still difficult. And I was talking with a banker the other day, and he was telling me that yes, we have money to loan. Yes, we are loaning money, but unfortunately, with the constraints of the rules, it's hard to find qualified people to loan money to. So when you have one, everyone is throwing money at them. Everyone is trying to get them. So the banks are really competing for a few people and excluding a lot of people. And if you happen to be one of those who are excluded, then maybe this is something that you might want to think about. Now, it doesn't work for everyone, but it could work for you. And one option is leasing. You can kind of lease about everything, and your credit requirements are a little less. The equipment or whatever you're leasing is the collateral, so they don't have as much to lose, and so that might be a way to go. Now, if you that's for instance, and I'm reading here from a press release. If you need money for payroll or to catch up with rent, you could finance your receivables. Now, that can work if your receivables are generally current, and current is between 30 and 45, maybe at the latest 60 days. So you have a receivable of $40,000, and you want to get a loan on that. So that 40,000 is held as collateral, is paid to the bank, and they may loan you as much as $25,000, $30,000. So you have that cash flow to work off. Now, obviously, the downside is you need to have steady receivables, because if it's just receivables for this month and next month you only get 5,000 in, then you're going to have a problem because your bills and everything are going to be at a certain amount, but your income isn't. So this is for business, and I'm talking about businesses who have a steady sale, a steady revenue, monthly revenue, and therefore they just can't get the money they need to grow and the capital they need to get bigger. If you are struggling, which a lot of companies are, that's a different option, and that's something that you need to address a little differently. And hopefully you give us a call. We can help you with that. We have a report that shows you your industry averages, and if you are below those averages, we'll take a closer look at your financial statements and try to see where you can make changes. If it's because sales are declining, it may be you need to either rethink your market, which in these times is not unusual, or retool your product if it's something that can be retooled, or look at expanding your product or expanding your market. But getting back to this report, I want to kind of go through it a little more. If you're a manufacturer, and reading here, if you're a manufacturer and you receive a large order and you don't have the capital to produce that order, then it's possible you might want to get a line or a loan based on that product purchase order, so that you can then complete the order, and the difference again is your profit. So again, taking this $40,000 order, if you get a product loan or line of credit of $30,000, you now can complete that, and that would work for you. So these are ways of thinking outside the box. After the break, we'll talk a little bit more about different ways you can creatively bring some income into your business, and how you can help make your business grow. You're listening to Rant Radio Network. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home. At AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.agrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos Español.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Laza with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil. Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69-THE-3-GUYS.
It's not the Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's. The other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS. G-U-Y-S and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
Hey, bro, this is a good game. You know what would make it better?
What, bro?
A michelada.
A michelada? What's a michelada?
A michelada is somewhere in the middle of a Mexican Bloody Mary and a Mexican margarita.
Oh, I got you covered, bro.
You got a cup in your pocket?
No, sir. I got my pocket-sized michelada. Mucho macho michelada.
Pocket size?
Pocket size, so you can take it with you anywhere you go.
Where'd you get that at?
At the nearest convenience store, and you can also buy it at muchomachomichelada.com.
You know what'll make it better? After we get drunk, if they had a line we could call.
We can call their drunk line. You can leave a message and then log on to the site and listen to your stupidity afterwards.
What's that number?
It's 855-MICHE-69.
What's that number again?
855-MICHE-69.
Awesome. Mucho macho michelada.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Welcome back, everyone. You're on the Rant Radio Network. I'm Anthony Sykes. Give us a call at 855-969-7268 or send me an email if you would like to have your question read on the air, asykes@sykesaccounting.com. I also invite you to visit our website, sign up for our newsletter. We have a lot of interesting tips, tax tips as well as business tips. We have several calculators on there for taxes. Let's say you want to figure out how many exemptions you should claim or could claim on your paycheck. We have that on there for you. We try to keep up with what's latest and breaking in terms of the Internal Revenue Service and the Franchise Tax Board, but that one, they are a little slower than that, but I do keep up with all the taxing agencies. I was talking about different ways, creative ways to finance your company when you cannot get a line or credit from a bank. Now, a lot of companies are in this situation, and so what we want to do is give you a way to help you, one, get the money into your business so that you can sustain and grow and get a better credit reputation so that you can go to any arena and borrow money. Now, another one, and this one you should use with caution. If you need a short-term loan, and that could be as short as 6 months, maybe as long as 18 months. There are companies out there that will loan you between $5,000 and $25,000, whether you have any, whether you have any account receivables or not, or purchase order to finance. It's based solely on your cash flow. That is, how much of your deposits are per month. And you generally need to show at least $5,000 coming in a month. And you have to not have very many NSF checks, that is, non-sufficient funds checks. Otherwise, it's showing that you're really in trouble, and they may not want to loan you to you because they can't get their money back. How these companies typically work is once they'll deposit the money into your account, and then they'll automatically draw the payments out of your account. That's why you need to have a sufficient balance or show a balance at the end of the month so that they can feel comfortable, they can get their money back. Now, I say you should be careful of these. They tend to have a hidden high interest rate. Typically, one might be $10,000 and the payback is 6 months. But you're paying back almost $15,000, or actually I should say $13,000 over that 6 month period, and they're taking out $115 or so a day. So immediately after that $10,000 is deposited, they're taking back $115 per day. that means that you really don't have $10,000 to work with. And the interest rate may be, if you calculate it out on a less than annualized basis, it could be 30 to 40%. That's very expensive money. Unfortunately, if that's all you can get, then maybe you might want to consider it. Maybe you might want to consider the other alternatives, unless you have done everything short of beginning to close your doors. So I don't want to go that way. I'm trying to be positive. This is a positive show, but it can work. So let's say you were in a short-term cash crisis and you know the money's going to be coming in. This might work for you. So within let's say a 2-month period, more money comes in. Let's say you have an ad campaign you want to do. You really need about 3,000-4,000. You borrow the 10. So it's really paying back with the money you borrowed, which is not the best way financially to do this. But at least then, if your campaign works, 2 to 3 months, you have more business coming in, and you could be on your way. Another one, if you happen to have those, which some people do, securities, stocks and bonds and so on, in the past few months they've been rising, so you could actually borrow against those and get a loan using your securities as collateral. Now, this type of financing, it kind of works. That interest may be tax deductible, and it might work with you. So there's several different ways you can sort of get money from a non-traditional way. There are others. If you have a product, there are venture capitalists out there, but they will ask for a kind of a portion of your business. So you need to be careful about that. If you're going to grow this business to sell, then that's not so much a concern. If you want to hold on to this business forever, that could be a concern, because the venture capitalists, their objective is to get it to market as fast as possible, sell, return their capital with their profit, and move on to the next project. And your objectives and their objectives may not be the same. There are also others out there who will take an equity position, and as long as the business is doing well, they will take the ride with you. But after 3-4 years, you may have to then begin paying them back. So if your business is doing well, you set up that payment plan, you buy them out, everybody's happy. So there are some non-traditional ways in which you can get money for your company. You have to work harder to find them, harder to get them, and most definitely you need to make sure you can make them work. So before you do that, you need to have a good business plan. You need to understand what your product or service, where it fits in the marketplace, who it will fit for, if it can expand, if it will generate the kind of income you hope it will. And you have to take a lot of the hope out of it and come as close as you can to what might be realistic. So if you have a number, then discount that number just to kind of take out your, I guess, the hope that it's going to do well, and your belief, because you have faith in it doesn't necessarily mean the marketplace will have faith in it. So those are some tips. If you have something, give us a call. I'd like to hear what you think, and that's 855-969-7268. Or if you have a question on where you could find extra money, call me. Now, what I have here is a copy, and I got it too late today to actually have it show up on the screen for you, but it will in coming shows. The 1913 tax return. Someone emailed me and asked, well, what do you think about a flat tax? And that's why this came to mind. The first tax return. As you may know, taxes were created in 1913 with the amendment, and there is a code section to actually file, that everyone must file taxes. I think it's code section 6001 and 6002. The tax return was created. And I'm going to read some parts of this to you because I find it fairly interesting. But the penalty for failing to have this return in the hands of the collector is the Internal Revenue Bureau. That's what it was called at that time. And the collector was what we would now call the Internal Revenue agent, or the auditor, or someone with that type title. The penalty, you had to file your tax return on or before March 1st. So over the years, as the return has gotten more complicated, they've actually given you more time to file. Roughly a month and 45 days more. But the penalty for not filing a return was between $20 and $1,000. And I think that's interesting. The form itself is 2 pages, and it is 2 pages and 1 page of instructions, and that's it. Now, if you've looked at the tax return that you may have filed for 2012 or 2011, if you are still on extension, it's a lot more than 2 pages. The total number of lines on this page, from entering the income to the calculation, is about 6, and then another calculation page is 12. Whereas on the regular return, it's over 78. We'll talk more about this after the break. You're listening to Rant Radio Network, and I'm Anthony Sykes. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Ticketsurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. Ticketsurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4199.
Dirty Truth Radio Show, where we'll be talking about relationships,
marriage,
how to have sex,
dating,
first dating,
what not to do while dating.
why middle-aged women are very easy.
Don't talk about sex on the first date.
Why shouldn't you?
Don't say X about on the first date.
Why religion should never be mentioned.
And demasculate.
And demasculating men.
Alpha males.
And alpha male. Why women love alpha males but won't admit it.
Yes, we do.
On Tuesdays from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. only on RantRadioNetwork.com.
Hey, bro, this is a good game. You know what would make it better?
What, bro?
A michelada.
A michelada? What's a michelada?
A michelada is somewhere in the middle of a Mexican Bloody Mary and a Mexican margarita.
Oh, I got you covered, bro.
You got a cup in your pocket?
No, sir. I got my pocket-sized michelada. Mucho macho michelada.
Pocket size?
Pocket size, so you can take it with you anywhere you go.
Where'd you get that at?
At the nearest convenience store, and you can also buy it at muchomachomichelada.com.
You know what will make it better? After we get drunk, if they had a line we could call.
We can call their drunk line. You can leave a message and then log on to the site and listen to your stupidity afterwards.
What's that number?
It's 855-MICHE-69.
What's that number again?
855-MICHE-69.
Awesome. Mucho macho michelada.
You're listening to What Honesty Feels Like with Christine Sawicki that airs every Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can catch us on rantradionnetwork.com. If you're one of the most successful people in the world, I want to talk to you. I want to know how you got there, where you're going, and who you're giving back to. So call me at 855-969-7268 and check in with me, the most successful people in the world.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil. Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You can call us at 855-69 The Three Guys.
It's not the three guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS, G-U-Y-S, and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
Welcome to the Monster Marketing Group, your one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. Anything you need to make that marketing and advertising campaign stand out, we're your people. Concept, design, production, social media, anything that you can dream up, we're going to make happen for you. And we can do it in a very quick turnaround. Please give us a call at 888-49-MONSTER.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Anthony Sykes, and you're on the RantRadioNetwork.com. Give us a call at 855-969-7268. We want to hear what you think. I'm talking about flat tax, because that's what the actual 1913 tax return was. If you'd like a copy, email me. I'll send you a copy, and you can see what was and probably what will never be again. The 1913 tax return had gross income. And what was gross income? It was salary and wages, income from professions. It was the total amount of rents. It was gains from partnership business. It was the fixed amount of gains or profits from bonds or mortgages. That's interest income. And anything else, tax-free bonds at that time. Government bonds were not tax-free. They were taxed. And that was what was income. And any amount from fiduciary, so if you had a trust or something like that. Then the catch-all phrase was amount of income derived from any source whatsoever not specified elsewhere on the page. So whether it was legal or illegal, if it was income, it was taxable. Now, general deductions, excuse me, which was interesting, that was the amount of expenses paid to carry on business. So whatever that was. And not including your personal or living expenses. All interest paid within a year on a personal indebtedness to the taxpayer. So what would that mean? That could be mortgage interest, national, state, municipal taxes paid within a year. So your property tax, state taxes, and so on. Losses from a trade or business. So if you had a business loss, if there was a casualty, a fire, a storm, or something, that destroyed your business, that would be deductible. Debts that turned bad and you could not collect, and an amount representing a reasonable allowance for the exhaustion, wear, and tear of property, basically depreciation, because this was only for the use in business. So those things you could. And that total of general deductions would go on line 2. Total of income would go on line 1. The difference would be net income. Then you would add, there would be dividends from corporations, the normal tax, if there was a tax from that. However, you had an exemption of $3,000 to $4,000, depending what the instructions said, and the net amount, the taxable income, was for the first any amount over $20,000, and under $50,000 was 1%. So you had a 1% income tax. We had a 1% income tax at one time. If it was between 50 and 75,000, it was 2%. Between 75 and 100,000, it became 3%. Between 100,000 and 250,000, that was 4%. If it was 250,000 and less than 500,000, that was 5%. And anything over 600,000 was 6%. Now, that's an interesting tax. So the highest tax on 500,000. Now again, remember, 500,000 in 1913 was a whole lot more in today's money, but that would be 6%. So that's interesting, and if you'd like to kind of see what taxes were and never will be again, email me at asykes@sykesaccounting.com. Tips on what, if you're moving. A lot of people are moving around the country to either get a job or start a business, and there's a couple things you need to remember if you're going to do that, because that move could be tax deductible if you meet the distance test, or even in between LA County and Orange County. I mean, Southern California is so large that you can move from one area to another, and you could actually qualify to have your move as tax deductible. So the first thing you need to do, and I'm going to sort of go through it a little bit, is there's a distance test. You have to be at least 50 miles farther from your former home than your previous job was. So if your job was here in LA and you lived in, let's say, Lancaster, and then you moved from Lancaster to Santa Fe Springs, that's more than 50 miles. So you might qualify. The time, were you working at least 39 months? Yes, that could be possible. Now, you have to start a new job. It couldn't be that you just moved and you kept the old job. Those two things, and you really should look at publication 521 to get all the details. But what could be deductible is travel. That's if you had to stay overnight. Now, again, an overnight stay would suggest that you're moving state to state or something like that. The household goods, the cost of packing them in, if you're using a commercial carrier, a commercial mover. The utilities, the cost of disconnecting them, if there's any penalty or something. Non-deductible things you can't take is if you bought a new home, any part of the expenses on that purchase price and or any part of breaking a lease on another home or the home that you left. And if your employer reimbursed your expenses, then you could not deduct those again. As a tip, you should update your address with not only the post office, but also with the Internal Revenue Service using Form 8822. Now, normally the post office will forward all mail, but there's a lag in there. What happens, my understanding is it goes to your old address, and then it comes back, and then it goes with the forwarding order, or if it doesn't do it that way, within the post office itself, there is, as the carrier is sorting the mail, they get it and they say, oh, there's a forwarding order here, and they put that little sticker on it, and it goes to the other carrier if they're, obviously it would be in a different district. So it's 1 to 2 or more days of travel time, possibly, before it's rerouted and then you get it. Whereas if you directly have it go to the Internal Revenue Service, this Form 8822, they have it if they're sending you anything, and most likely the thing that you want is your refund check, then they would send it directly to you and there would be no forwarding. And as it is now, I believe some refund checks may not be forwarded because of the threat of them being stolen. So if that address is no longer correct, the postman, the letter carrier, mail carrier, may then be required to send it back to the Internal Revenue Service, where they may then hold on to it until you contact them. So that could be some time, and especially if you need that check, or you want that check, you may then be waiting some time before you get it. So those are some tips that you might want to take into account if you're thinking about moving to a different location, or you got a new job, you're moving out of the state, and you wanted to know if that could be, or any part of it could be tax deductible. And it could be, and it gets to record keeping, which we need to, you need to make sure, because that's another section I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes on record keeping and what you need to do. Now, most of what I talk about on this show is for business. It also can be applicable to individuals, but our show is really geared to those who are looking, either looking to start a business or have a business, and they want to know how to make their business a little better. I invite you, as I will say several times during the show, to go to our website, www.sykesaccounting.com. Take a look at that. Ask questions. I have a free consultation box, and if you would like to have me answer a question, enter that information and send it to me, and I will get back to you. Also, if you're interested in what your industry averages are, if you would send me an email through that website in the free consultation box, what you would do is click on the box, enter your information, and just put in what your industry is, and I will send that back to you. So I hope you take advantage of that. And again, if you're interested in the 1913 tax return, let me know. I'd love to send that to you. I like finding these old things. I can get access to a lot of different years. And we'll talk a little bit more about record keeping in the next session after the break. This is Anthony Sykes. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4199.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
Hey there, my
We
name
are
is
the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69 The Three Guys.
It's not the Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS, G-U-Y-S, and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Welcome back, everyone, to the RantRadioNetwork.com. I'm Anthony Sykes. I invite you to give me a call, 855-969-7268. Visit the website, www.sykesaccounting.com. We have a big seminar coming up, the Board of Equalization. And at this seminar, it's formally the Board of Equalization Small Business Seminar and Expo. And at this seminar, let me give you a little bit of who will be there. The Franchise Tax Board, the EDD, Employment Development Department, the Small Business Administration, and the Small Business Development Corporation. Now, the difference between SBA and the SBDC is that the Small Business Administration, they hold classes for small businesses. They help you as a small business company get loans to purchase buildings, equipment, and actually other businesses, depending. The Small Business Development Corporation, they are an incubator. If you want to get into business, they start you off helping you with the small steps of a business plan. They have seminars, of which I do some of sometimes, on taxes, what a small business owner needs to understand about business and taxes. They help you to get a grasp on what small business is and what it means to go into business for yourself. So that's pretty good. And of course, there is the Board of Equalization, and of course, there will be the Internal Revenue Service. They will be giving seminars, and I am giving, IRS has asked me to do the seminar portion for the Internal Revenue Service. I am and will be the only non-governmental employee giving a seminar. So my seminar, while it will be on the subject that the Internal Revenue Service wants me to speak on, I will give that, but I will give it in a way in which is non-governmental speak, so to speak. My objective is to give it to you from the point of view of your accountant, how it would work for you, how it can help your business, why it's important to you. And a lot of times government employees may or may not have been in the private industry. Therefore, their point of view is obviously from the government. This seminar is free. It typically there's 400 and sometimes more people who attend. If you can, I invite you to attend. It will be in West Covina. It's on August 27th. Go to my website for the details. And that website again is www.sykesaccounting.com. Now, one of the things that someone had emailed me about is how, as we were talking about most of this show, is how to get loans, how to make your business better, which is the theme of all the shows that I talk about. When I bring on guests, it is with the intent of one of two things: either how you can make your business better, or something that you can do that you may need for your business. And I want to talk about the necessity of business and records, not just having them, but having them as a good set. That will help you to do several things. One, and the basic one, is to monitor your business's progress. How is your business going? If you don't know how well your business is doing, then there's no way you can get a loan, a line of credit from anyone. And there's no way, or it's a very hard way, that you can help your business to grow. One of the products that we do have is an analysis of your financials so that we can help you eliminate waste or make your business more efficient, but you still have to have the good books and records for us to do that. It helps you prepare good financial statements before you can get an investor, before you can get a loan. You have to have a profit and loss at the very minimum. You need to show how your business did. A profit and loss shows for a certain period of time, from June or July 1st to July 31st, this much came in as income and this much went out as expenses. Then there's a balance sheet. The balance sheet shows how much cash was in the bank, and the balance sheet is as a point in time. That would be, let's say, July 31st. How much cash was in the bank July 31st? What were the assets, whether it be equipment, whether it be buildings, how much are they worth, less depreciation, what were the liabilities, if there's a loan, if there's any type of other liabilities, and the retained earnings from the previous period, and the equity that the company has, and that is your balance sheet. So every business should be able to produce a good set of financial records. And then what financial records do, it helps you keep track of deductible expenses. Now, that's more tax-wise. I'm talking here how to help your business. Taxes is one thing, business is another. So if you're looking for your investors, or you're looking for yourself to see how your business is doing, what you want to do is make sure that you have your records. Now, obviously, those good records will help you prepare your tax return. And I only want to talk about taxes in terms of you want to pay the least amount of taxes possible or legally. And if you're going to get a loan in this day and age, one of the things you need to realize is that if your business is not paying taxes, banks generally will not loan you any money. From their standpoint, and again, this has changed over the years, is that if a business isn't paying taxes, how then can they repay this loan? In past years, you would show losses, but you would show assets. I've got this building, I've got these cars, I've got this and this and this. So obviously, if I can afford these, then I can afford to pay this loan back. Well, that all has changed. I do not know if it's going to come back, but I do know right now banks are looking to see if your business is profitable. So you have to accept and consider the thought that if you're going to get any money from a bank, and possibly from even an outside source, outside of banks, that your business has to be showing that it's paying taxes. An outside investor is going to be even less hesitant to loan money to a company that is not paying taxes unless they can see the future of it. And I guess probably the best best example might have been some of these internet companies, where in the beginning they were losing money, but that's only until they built up the clientele, so to speak, and then now they're making money. So there is probably an exception. I guess I'm thinking about Amazon. For years it lost money, and people wondered if this was viable, and then all of a sudden it became a money-making machine. So there are those exceptions, but you have to be careful about that. Now, the purpose of your records, obviously, you want to keep them. How long do you keep your records? Some say 3 years, some say 7. My profession, I usually advise people at least 7. If you have assets, you might need to keep them for the life of those, for the time that you hold on to those assets. And that's, again, a tax issue, because you have to prove that you actually had those assets. But you always want to be able to, with your books and records, to keep them in a easy way. So whether it's QuickBooks or whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, whatever is comfortable for you. Now, you do have to understand that when you're going out to an outside source, they have to be prepared in a standard format. That's a standard format for an income statement, a standard format for a balance sheet, so that that entity, whether it's a bank, whether it's an investor, whatever, when they look at it, they can understand the numbers, and they can understand what it is that you are doing and what you are trying to do. But for in-house purposes, and when I say in-house, for your own purposes, whatever is comfortable for you, so that you can keep this information and you keep it up to date. It's one thing to have a stack of receipts here and your invoices here, and then occasionally look at your checking account. That doesn't do you a lot of good. What you must do is enter all that data in so that you can look at it at a quick glance and see just how your business is doing. That is it for this show. I invite you to see us again next time. I'm Anthony Sykes. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back. Welcome